please make sure that you put in legislation, and if I can do anything from a cautionary tale of what I've learned to share with you, put in legislation accepting the money. I know you may seem to think that that's not important, but in the long run, I promise you it is. Please put in legislation accepting on record that you're accepting the American Rescue Plan Act funds. Also use your bully pit to make sure that you educate the community. What I've done in my legislation, I found out that one, people are still confusing CARES Act money with the rescue plan money, and they are totally different.
Yes.
I can't begin to tell you, I have, with the help of my staff, we not called the Mighty Six just for a moniker. We walk the entire Fulton County. We reach out to business owners. We reach out to nonprofits. We reach out to homeowners. We ask them, what is their issue? What do they understand? What information do they have? I have had homeowners to tell me that, well, I want to apply for it, but I understand my taxes don't go up at the end of the year. I've had people to tell me, well, I want to apply for it, but I didn't take the vaccine, so I don't think I'll be eligible for the money. I promise you, these are things that I have heard in the community because I was a community activist before I came out the womb. So I understood when I took this job that it was more than sitting in a building. I had to go back out to the community and talk to them and see what their problems were. And the problems are they do not have the correct information. So if I can really plead anything to you is to make sure, one, you have the correct information. And the reason why, here again, I let my legislation and I let my hours of work be a cautionary tale, Chairwoman, because the rescue plan, even though it's not as restrictive as the CARES money, there are things that you cannot do with it. Our county manager at the Fulton County level put forth a plan to put $35 million of the rescue plan money to pandemic buildings. Now, of course, I didn't think our rescue plan needed that, but you can't go on what you just think. My staff and I spent 10 hours with the outside counsel in Washington at my request to speak on the plan with them, what you can spend, what you can't spend. And one of the first things they said, you cannot pandemic-proof a building with the rescue money. So what I say to you, do not take the words of those in leadership. Do the work yourself. Reach out to outside counsel. Reach out to outside counsel and tell them exactly what your district needs are and what is eligible. But more importantly, I cannot stress this enough, what is not eligible. Because on my watch, the rescue plan will not be a money grab. And I say that openly because communities of black and brown have been devastated, and communities all over Georgia, whether you're black, brown, yellow, or white, you have been devastated financially. And this is not a money grab. I'm going to say that one more time for the person in the back. This is not a money grab. This is money that is needed to your constituents to get back better, for them to get back on track, for them to be able to stay in their homes, to keep their utilities on, to keep their doors open, to create jobs in the community, to make sure that we have broadband access, to make sure that the devastation that we have seen across Georgia, that's what this money is for. Now, I don't want to sound like a Baptist preacher, but sometimes it takes. In the meantime, I need your help. Because you have influence. Everyone in this room has influence. Pick up the phone. Call your county commissioners. Call the Fulton County Chairman, Rob Pitts, and tell him this is not a Republican or a Democratic issue. This is a people issue. I have a district that is 85% Democrat, but I have 15% Republicans that are hurting too.
That's right.
They told me as well they've had to close businesses. They've had to say, okay, I'm not sending my daughter to college. It was too much. We had to cash in the 401k. Anytime you have to cash in your 401k and not send your child to college, and then you have to play politics with money that's sent to rescue. I'm gonna say R-E-S-C-U-E one more time. R-E-S-C-U-E is rescue. So I say to you again as I come to a close, educate yourself on what this money means to your constituents. Take off any labels that you may have and help the people. And so as I close, I will say to you this. In my federal rescue plan, the dollars that we required, that we prioritized was 5 key areas. Home mortgage and rental utilities assistance, grants to small businesses with less than 30 employees, premium pay for all eligible Fulton County employees, jobs training and education program for unemployed workers, and grants and low interest loans for nonprofit organizations and businesses impacted by COVID-19. Now this is not all inclusive because there are other things that this money can be used for. But I plead to you today to find your priority areas and make sure that your legislation targets the priority areas, because that is why the money is being sent for the priority areas and also areas that need help and need a boost. So I will ask you, as we begin to receive the $206 million over the next 2 years, our first half arrived in May. You may not have known that. Our money has already arrived, the first half. And so I had to go to bat with commissioners that wanted to say, well, wait till the money gets here before we have legislation in place. But I also had constituents that said I'm 4 months behind on my mortgage. I had constituents that had to choose between working and trying to take care of their family, or trying to feed their family, or trying to keep the business open. And so what I would say to you, if you have the opportunity to put the legislation in place now, do it. Because the need is out there. I promise you the need is out there. At the end of the day, at the county level, we need 4 votes. So I ask that you make sure that you have the votes, or at least have the ability to educate your colleagues and your peers. I made the assumption that some of my colleagues knew more than me. Bad assumption when it came to the rescue plan. I am a walking subject matter expert on the rescue plan because my district needs it. Yes. So I will leave my card here. If you have any questions or concerns, I don't mind letting you know and sharing it with you that if we are about the business of taking care of the lesser of these, then you got to come out of the box. Some of my colleagues said I didn't have a problem, my mortgage is on time, I didn't have a problem, my business didn't close, I didn't have a problem, I didn't have to go into my 401k, but I promise you a lot of Georgia residents did. And so please come out of your comfort zone. Please educate yourself on the RIP. I call it RIP, but it's really the Rescue American Plan, but I call it the RIP, let it rip, let that money come to the state, let that money come to the counties, and let that money come to the cities. And so I will close today to say, the supporters of my program, the supporters of my legislation across the board. We have the Honorable former Mayor Andy Young, Ambassador. We have the former Director and CEO Doug Shipman of the Woodruff Arts. We have Doug Dean, a former state legislator that now has been down to the county not once but twice. We have State Rep Mandisha Thomas that has come down there and spoke vote on it. And so we have also Commissioner Lee Morris, my colleague that sit next to me, and he is a Republican, and he supports me in what I am doing at the county level. So please, I remind you again to please work with your colleagues. Educate your colleagues. Do not assume that your colleagues know the correct information, because I found out my colleagues didn't. They were going by CARES Act requirements that are totally different. I'm going to say that again. CARES Act requirements are totally different than the American Rescue Plan. Thank you. This plan will be an economic shot in the arm. I am here at your disposal, Chairwoman. Be blessed, and you all have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much,